Hi, today we are talking about the Spanish-American War. And before you say anything, yes, I know I am doing a Roblox video for this. At the end of the day, oh well, I'm presenting the information. Anyhow, how did it start? The Spanish-American War started with the USS Maine warship harbored in Havana due to tensions with Spain and America, exploding internally, killing 266 men in Havana Harbor, Cuba. Yellow journalists would immediately pick up on this accident and blame the Spanish to sensationalize the incident. Firstly, we need to talk about yellow journalism. Yellow journalism was the initial spark for why we even went to war in the first place. Outlines such as "Who Destroyed the Maine?", $50,000 award, and Spanish treachery were used to scare the public and just sell out. The journalists at the time, late 1800s, were called yellow journalists, and they did not care about getting facts right at all. They basically could just sell off the entertainment and craziness of a headline in their newspapers. More money equals more printing and crazier outlines, which equals more selling, which in turn equals more money, and the cycle repeats. Hearst and Pulitzer, the two biggest newspaper company owners at the time, had sold on the tensions of Cuba and Spain long before the USS Maine was even destroyed, and after it happened, they had only made things worse. When people were hesitant about the war, others would say the popular phrase, "Remember the Maine," similar to "Remember 9/11" nowadays. Teddy Roosevelt, among many other politicians at the time, had already been pushing for overseas expansion. Both the Cubans, which were under Spanish control at the time, and the Filipinos, which were also under Spanish control at the time, had fought wars previously to try and gain independence from Spain, such as the Cuban War of Independence in 1895 and the Philippine Revolution in 1896, had already been active before the U.S.'s involvement due to the USS Maine's suspicious explosion being in Havana Harbor. McKinley initially did not even want to go to war, but Teddy Roosevelt, being the opportunist he was, persuaded him otherwise. America decided to help out both the Filipinos and the Cubans and fight back against the Spanish. This war only had a nickname, being the Splendid Little War. It was named this since this war only lasted 7 months, and 2,446 Americans died, and around 15,700 to 15,800 died on the Spanish side. One of the most important battles during this war was the Battle of San Juan Hill, or San Juan Heights. Even though General William Shafter's attack was late, it was a success. Colonel Theodore Roosevelt rode in, or Teddy Roosevelt rode in, with his 1st Volunteer Cavalry, charged Kettle Hill, and captured it, but took a heavy hit. Yes, Teddy Roosevelt fought with his soldiers, and his 1st Volunteer Cavalry Regiment had the nickname Rough Riders, and this battle was a win for the U.S. As a result of this war, we gained Cuba, Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines after signing the Treaty of Paris. We have since kept Puerto Rico and Guam, but we didn't keep Cuba nor the Philippines. The reason we never annexed Cuba was due to the Teller Amendment. The Teller Amendment was an amendment passed by Congress April 20th, 1898, the day before we started the Spanish-American War. To paraphrase, it states that America could not establish permanent control over Cuba, but could help them out in the war. Now, the reason we never kept the Philippines is different, because we fought a whole second war against them. Right after the Spanish-American War, which we helped them fight, the Filipino nationalist Emilio Aguinaldo led an uprising and eventually started a war 2 days after the Treaty of Paris was signed. It's crazy, I know. The reason was that they did not want to be under another colonial ruler, but would rather be independent. We easily won that war, but it lasted 3 years, sadly. Way longer than the Spanish-American War, honestly. Both sides were accused of horrible practices during it. Anyway, We kept the Philippines despite it being extremely controversial until 1946 when we granted them independence. And Guam and Puerto Rico continue to be our territories as of right now. We never gave them up. And that's about it for the Spanish-American War. There's hardly anything on it because it was such a short war and didn't have that much involved. Anyway, see ya.